Hello everybody. Today we're fixing oil leaks. The oil leaks that I have are the rear diff pinion seal, and what do they call it? The back of the gearbox where the shaft goes into it, that thing as well. These are really hard to get. I called Toyota, they couldn't find them. They didn't have a listing for this car. They asked for the chassis number and they still couldn't find it. So I had only one option left, and that was to call Auto One in Castle Hill. They've never let me down. Literally, on the very first phone call, they had these two in stock for this car, and they arrived at my house 2 days later. So props up to Auto One Castle Hill. The boys down there do a fantastic job. I've had a fair few parts for this car purchased from Auto One when all else failed. In the future, I think I'm going to ask them straight away instead of wasting my week. I've had to take the bike to work every day because I can't drive the car, and that's been annoying. So let's get this sorted. So we're just going to slowly push it back. Right about there is good. Perfect. Just before I go any further, I thought I'd give you the part numbers. Oh, that's them there. So if you need those, they are the numbers to ask for. They'll do, pretty sure, the stock diff and the stock gearbox. I think they'll do a T50 or a W50 gearbox, which was kind of common in these. So first things first, we got to jack it up, get under it, and start pulling everything apart. I also do need oil. Slight change of plan. I need to go get oil. I have none in the shed, and I can't do this without getting oil. So may as well show you guys what it sounds like for me in here while I'm driving. I shouldn't be driving the car, but I have to go get oil. I got no other way of getting it, and it's only 5 minutes down the road. So let's go get some. So let's see if we can hear this gearbox whine and diff whine and all the other whines this car's got at the moment. So I hope you can hear that. It's quite high pitched. Every time I'm on the throttle a little bit, it just whines like crazy. When I'm cruising, not so bad, but definitely when I'm on the throttle. You hear that? Oh. So sad. What's with all these cars pulling in front of me today? Oh yeah. Of course you don't know what lane to be in. And we're back. 2.6 litres of 80W90 mineral for the gearbox. Had to get 2 because I need 1.3 litres for the rear diff. I also got a little lubricant hand pump. Alright, so first things first, we've got to undo some bolts from the main drive shaft so that can pop out of place and fall down. That'll give us all the access we need to the rear diff. Then we need to follow this oily mess right the way back, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have to take out that that mount there so that we can slide this bad boy out of the gearbox. So let's get to it. It should be pretty simple on paper, but as we all know, when you do this kind of work, there's always gremlins that come up that slow you down. So fingers crossed we don't come across too many. Let's get started. I might just get a pen and just quickly mark the orientation of this so that I can put it back together exactly the same way, just so I don't get any kind of unbalancing in the drive shaft. That would suck. Man, there is oil everywhere under here. Jeez. It's gross. We're gonna have to give this a good clean. It's thrown it all up under the car. From this spinning, it's just flicked out everywhere. That's all of it. Oh boy. Not good. Not good. Oh, it's all over my lines down here. At least everything's well lubricated. So I've got a little bit of paint here that I'm just going to dab on. And I just closed the lid on myself. Bugger. Haha. Are you what? A little bit of paint. Now when I put it back together, I will know which way it went on. So now I have to knock this just gently on the top and the bottom just to kind of loosen it off so it will back out and fall down. I also have to then sort out. All right, now this has to come off. So I've got to get that bolt undone and that bolt undone. Why isn't this? There we go. That one there, and that'll allow me to kind of swing this down a bit and just make life easier. Now that the mount is dropped down, it's allowing a lot of slack for that to actually slide out, which is pretty easy because that literally just slides into a spline. Now we just got to knock this piece away from that flange it's sitting up against with a light hammer. Just give it a tap side and side so it moves its way out. This will drop down, the rest of this will fall out, and then we can move this off to the side and start working on our seals. Okay. Now I got this diff sitting on my stomach, whatever it is. It's heavy. Ugh. 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 All right. Now we can pull it out of up here, which is easy. It's just a spline. We can sit it over to the side. And there we have it. This sucker, where's my pointer? That sucker there, that copper piece has to come out. Now this is not going to come out neatly. It will be completely destroyed when you do it. So if you're going to do this, make sure you got the new one on standby, because you will not be reusing this one. We got to pull this out of here somehow. I don't have a seal puller, so we're just going to, I don't know, use our big heads and try and work it out. All right, so I managed to actually find a tool that will help. This is a motorcycle rear shock absorber adjuster, and it's got this little edge on it that allows to actually get in there, grab onto the inner edge, and then we can lever this down and pop that out. So with a lot of force, I am actually slowly getting that out of there, which is, oh man, I just got to put you guys down. I need two hands on this, but you can see I got it out almost to the very edge. All right, and we got it. Now the reason this was leaking is because this shaft is pretty turd. It should be really, really nice and smooth and glossy and chromy, kind of like that little bit there. But as this spins on the inside and it's pressing against the rubber seal, this is working like sandpaper and actually destroying the seal. This seal was in the car when I bought it, and I would guess it could be easily 15 years old, given the car was off the road for 10 years and I've had it for nearly 5 now. So a new one's going to be great, but I would like to try and polish this up as best I can, because I don't want this working like sandpaper. I'm going to have to really try and work something out. I'll take this to the bench, but I highly recommend you make sure this is really clean before putting it back in. It will just destroy any new seals. I mean, you might get a few months or a year out of a new seal if you don't do this step, but I don't want to do this again anytime soon. This is a painful job. So let's go work this one out after we sort that one out. Actually, before we do that one, let's put the new seal in, because that can be done right now. Don't lose the retaining spring on the inside of this, because this is what holds the actual seal against the shaft. Now we just got to slowly tap it in all the way around the edge until it's flush with that back plate. I hope you were actually able to see that whole process. I hope my capturing actually got it. But that is flush and looking good. So next step is the rear. Sorry about that last video, by the way. I didn't know it wasn't focused, but I'm sure you got the picture. This nut has to come off. So I got my rattle gun and a 24mm socket, which fits this sucker. This little punch that they've put on this nut is really compressed. Normally I just get a screwdriver and kind of fold that back up so I can undo it. This is so compressed that I'm just gonna have to rattle gun it off and remove it. I should really have the handbrake on, but I'll give it a go without it because it is an impact. Easy as. So that sucker has been punched in. We will be able to reuse this. There's no thread on this top lip. There's no thread there, so it doesn't actually destroy the thread. It's just that it kind of bends back out. So we're going to keep this one, although you probably should really change it. There is a washer on the inside which has to fall out. Do not lose that. We need to reuse this, so we're going to put it aside. Not much I can really do with this. This is not in too bad a condition, so I don't have to polish this one up, but I'll take it up to the bench and have a look at it anyways. Man, I don't know what's going on in my videoing today, but it's horrible. Impact wrench straight off really, really easily. Didn't even have to have handbrake on. This just slides straight off. The residual oil falls all over the ground. Now we got to pull the seal out of here. Another messy job. Alright, so I thought I'd drop the oil out of the rear diff first, which I should have done at the beginning to make less of a mess. So I did that just now, and I found something that's interesting. This is the plug, bottom of the diff, and sitting on top are some lovely shards of metal. Let's clean these up, have a good look at them. I am expecting a new rear diff now, because when you've got shards of metal like this, you know that something is detrimentally wrong with the diff. And here we go. Look at this. Little bits of diff. This is not a good sign. But yeah, obviously the oil plug is magnetic, which is designed to grab all these little bits of metal so they don't continually fly through the gearbox and make things worse, which, I mean, at this point it's already pretty bad. So I don't think I'll be able to finish this job today. I mean, do I go and put a new seal? Well, it's the casting, but do I put the new seal on today, or do I actually just go and try and find a LSD, which I've wanted to do for a long time, because under boost and whatnot, one wheel spins and it's actually quite annoying. You don't get that drive out of the corner that, you know, we all love quite dearly. So I'm considering now just pausing the rear diff part, cleaning up the shaft, and actually looking for an LSD. Because as it sits, that's shagged. Just before the end of the video, a quick recap on the rest of the day. I ended up putting the rear pinion seal back in, obviously the new one, not the old one, just to make sure that the leaks are sorted on the rear diff. I filled it up with oil, filled the gearbox up with oil, and I reassembled everything and I took it for a drive. The gearbox is still whining its head off, but at a much smoother whine. It's not so kind of rattly, and I think that's just because of the oil. But regardless, it is still whining. So I think the gearbox itself has the issue. The diff, yes, there's chunks of metal in it, which I'm worried about. That's going to get replaced regardless, whether it's a diff center or an LSD, depending on what I can find. The gearbox is going to have to be looked at. I'm going to have to pull the engine out of the car. I'm going to have to detach the gearbox. So that's about where I'm at. I just want to let you guys know. So that's about where I'm at. The gearbox is whining its head off. It's going to need to be looked at, reconditioned or whatever. The rear diff is going to be replaced. The diff center at least. Just want to say thanks for watching. It's been a boring video, I know, but there will be more to come, especially pulling the engine back out and sticking everything back in again. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of content there. I'll try and go over a few of the, I guess, first gen celica specifics. So I hope that any of this information is slightly helpful to anyone in the same predicament as myself, and I hope that the videos help you. So yeah, thanks for watching. Till the next one, I'll call this part 1 of a series called, I don't know, Fixing Eve. I don't know, we'll work it out. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.